much. Will I stand here? Okay, thanks. Welcome, everybody. I was going to actually speak in Bengali, but unfortunately my boss Devna said not allowed to do that. I only speak in Hindi, and as a Bengali, I'm afraid I will protest and I will speak in English. I'm also a little jet-lagged. I've just come back from Finland. Not really. Anyway, I don't know what the LG has the right to ask somebody to come back from Finland, but I wasn't there. I wish I was, actually. I would say that going back in the history of NDTV, about 28 years now, someone just asked us recently, Radhika and me, what makes you proudest of all at NDTV? And our answer was, together, immediate, spontaneous, honestly, proudest, we feel proudest of NDTV India. Why? Why? Because while every single Hindi channel has turned tabloid, aiming at the lowest common denominator, NDTV India has stayed true to good, honest journalism. It's the only serious and genuine Hindi channel, news channel in India today, and we feel very proud of that. I would say it's a stretch, but just like The Economist magazine stands out among global magazines which are also going downhill, NDTV India stands out amongst Hindi news channels. It's been a tough journey sticking to serious journalism. It's not the most... See, basically, we're not businessmen, we're journalists. So it started off for many years with losses, and we had to just take those losses, and we had to fight the battles, constant battles, because we're not running a business. But slowly, the good news is those losses became less and less as people began to appreciate NDTV India as being distinct. Last year, we broke even on NDTV in India, and this year, NDTV India, I'm glad to inform you, will make a profit. So good journalism does pay, but you have to stick with it. I'm really happy that this conclave is about youth, and it's finally happening, and I thank BSNL deeply for their support and their foresight. Well, this conclave is about youth because it is perhaps the single biggest differentiator that we have in this country. India has the greatest asset in the world because we have the largest number of young people of any country. This is our greatest strength. The young will make India great again. And I don't want to do this and apologize to Donald Trump, but India, the youth will make India great again, in spite of what Donald Trump says. The older leaders have done a fairly poor job. They've left the young with basically a corrupt society. But they have done one thing. We have done, and the media has a big role to play in this. Every young person, and I see so many in the audience here today, has been brought up under fierce and exciting democracy. That we have done. So everybody, every young person in India has democracy in their DNA. You're questioning, you're free thinking, you're creative like no other country, believe me. No other country has both our quantity, that means the large number of young people, or our quality, the argumentative youngster. The youngster with democracy in her DNA. I'll give you an example that we've had trainers that come over from abroad and they train in many parts of the world and they come and train our youngsters as well. And everybody says they've never come across young people like young Indians. We question, we are creative, we won't take anything for an answer unless we actually believe in it, and they love it. So in that context, today we will be talking about solutions, how to value our youth and how to ensure that our youth create value. Every session in today's conclave will focus on solutions. It won't be just a complaint fest that we all say, oh, this is terrible, that's terrible, which we do at cocktail parties. Yes, we will identify problems and we will ask for solutions. So in your questions and in your interaction, and we hope a lot of audience interaction will take place, please ask for solutions and not just complaints. One of the most inspiring sessions today, and there are lots of very inspiring sessions. We have Amitabh Bachchan, we have Ravi starting the show. But one of the most inspiring is the great young Olympians who won medals. Many now say that Indians don't do well at the Olympics because it's not in our DNA, not in our genes. I honestly think that's such rubbish. It's the corruption among our sports bodies, among our politicians, that has robbed our athletes of world-class training and preparation. Not in our DNA. So we have DNA to be the greatest badminton players in the world, but not in tennis, no DNA there. When we had Ramanathan Krishnan and Jaideep Mukherjee and even Leander Paes, we have tennis in our DNA, but now we don't have tennis in our DNA. We had DNA for hockey, now we don't have that. DNA doesn't change like this. 25 years ago, we didn't have the DNA for cricket. Now we suddenly have cricket DNA. We have cricket in our genes. That's just not true. The slogan that sports is not in India's DNA is defeatist. And it's just our corrupt leaders and politicians that don't give our sportsmen a chance in hell. I tell you, if Usain Bolt had been trained under our politicians, he wouldn't have qualified for the Olympics at all. And our politicians dominate sports bodies. It's the system that has to change, and that's something we'll be talking about. How do we change the system? It's not about our genes. Genes are permanent, and it's like giving up. Give us a corruption-free, world-class sports training system, and watch our youth fly. Finally, I'll just end by saying that when I was young, I'm still 18 at heart, we would go by the slogan, which I still go by today. In college, we would shake our fists at politicians and leaders and say, you're all bloody irrelevant. I still believe that. They are irrelevant. We have to do it ourselves. No corrupt leaders are going to help change this country for the better. We have the will, we have the DNA, we have the talent, and we have the youth on our side. For the corrupt, we have one message. You're all bloody irrelevant. Thank you very much.